real tribute to the type of person he was. Obviously, I'm extraordinarily sad, really sad, but I hope this day would never come, but that was wishful thinking. I guess it's always too soon. But I also recognize how lucky I was for 46 years to be with him. Young or old, male or female, especially female, Dad knew how to relate to you. He exuded kindness, a sense of humor, selflessness. People just simply responded to him. My father-in-law, Stuart Harris, and my father became very close over the last 10 years. Often when discussing my father with Stuart, he'd say, you know, the man's my hero. It sounds a bit cliche, but he really was for me. I've been told often that we looked alike. We acted alike, and if it was even half true, I'm feeling a whole lot better about myself. The World War II generation is often referred to as the greatest generation. That's probably true. To use a sports analogy, I feel like my dad was kind of the MVP of that generation. Driven, committed, selfless, tenacious, and accomplished despite many challenges and obstacles. Speaking of challenges, Dad was in a select group of people known as Holocaust survivors, along with his 3 older sisters who survived him, and 2 of them are here today. It's factually true, he did survive the Holocaust, but he was so much more than a survivor. Post-war, he hit the ground running and didn't look back. He was a man on a mission. He discussed his war experience if asked, but he didn't typically volunteer the information or wear it on his sleeve. I don't think he ever wanted to be defined by his Holocaust experience. They were certainly part of who he was, but they were not who he was. As the youngest, and some might even use the phrase, the accident in our family, I had a bit longer rope to hang myself with than my siblings. Needless to say, I used that rope. Too bad for my siblings, I just knew how to work the system better. Plus he was too old and tired after the third. I suspect that payback for me is coming since I will be around 80 when Jack graduates college. So Dad, you will get the last laugh. 8+ years ago, I told my parents that Rachel and I decided to move our family to Israel. He smiled. He said he'd miss us terribly, but he was really proud. It really helped erase any doubts that I might have had about our decision, and there were doubts. Since our move, I've had maybe 35 or 40 visits to New York and Florida, some with family, but most without. I stayed with my parents a lot of that time. We talked endlessly about my kids, about work, about the market, about politics. We had lunches and dinners together. We loved to eat out. We go to shul together daily, and believe me, daily minyan was not my thing. I guess that's going to change. Anyway, our relationship had never been stronger despite the 6,000-mile gap. We Jacobys, or at least certainly this one, are not typically expressive about our feelings, but most of our phone conversations for the past couple of years ended with an "I love you." Rabbi Hain had mentioned yesterday when we met with him that he always found my dad to be so thankful. Along those lines, I'd like to just close by saying a few public thank yous to my dad. Thank you, Dad, for showing me the meaning of truly loving your spouse. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me how to prioritize family over all else. Thank you, Dad, for being a true champion of optimism. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me what it means to pursue your own dreams and support your children as they pursue their own. Thank you, Dad, for making jokes and laughter a real, regular part of our lives and showing me that it's more than okay to laugh at yourself. Thank you, Dad, for showing me it's never too late to adapt and change. And finally, thank you, Dad, for waiting for me so we could spend one more very special Sunday together.